All right, great. So again, my name is James Frasca. I am a video production specialist here at Videoguys. If you give us a call and have any questions about tech support, there's a good chance you're going to talk to me. I talk to quite a few of you, and I enjoy kind of sharing some of this knowledge with you, and then sometimes even learning some new stuff myself. So today we're going to be talking about advanced PTZ control. Now, 2 weeks ago, we did a show where we talked about some of the more basic setups for PTZs, the different ways that you can control it, whether it's an IR remote or using a joystick controller and then using either RS-232 or IP control. And then we dabbled into presets. So today we're going to, basically start from presets, talk about some groups, scenes, and then we're going to get into auto tracking and different ways that you can automate the camera movements with the controllers or software programs that can be downloaded after the fact. So let's get right into groups. So groups are when you take a set number of cameras and you assign them to a group. And the reason that you would do that is to help manage all of your cameras that are on your network. Now, if you only have a room that has 2 or 3 cameras in it, you probably won't be having groups. But if, for example, you are a school and you have multiple rooms throughout your building, well, then you might want to group those cameras together. And maybe if you want to spread out across an entire campus and you have multiple buildings. So again, you might have in the same room, maybe you have an art room and you want to have 2 cameras on your painter, and then you want to have 2 cameras on the painting itself. Well, then you can, very easily make it so you have group 1 and group 2. Where we really see groups coming more into play is, again, when you have different rooms that are on the same network. So maybe you have your art room and your science room and your gym and your theater. Well, now each room is going to be grouped. So when you're using your controllers all the way from your control room, you're not controlling, the wrong cameras. You are controlling the ones that are in this assigned group. And then, of course, if you're going to be using something like NDI Bridge and controlling cameras across multiple buildings, well, then you're really going to want to be using groups. Groups, again, is mainly just to keep your cameras organized and managed. Now, one thing you can do with groups is you can then create scenes. Now, scenes are an advanced level of presets. We were talking a couple weeks ago about presets, and with presets, you can have pre-designated spots where the camera will snap to. But now you can have a group of cameras, go from position A to position B, and all the cameras that are in that group are going to move to their second position. And, I could sit here and talk about it all day long, but Paul Richards over at PTZOptics did a really good demo of this, and we're going to talk about this handbook that he made, but he turned that into a playlist and webinar series on YouTube. So I'm going to let him show you how he used the SuperJoy to make some groups and then scenes and scene changes with the SuperJoy.
We have 3 different sets. So let me show you how these buttons work. We have a little layout that will show you 4 cameras all moving at the exact same time to do scene changes. And so we'll start with that. And then as soon as that's up on the screen, I'm going to start clicking these buttons, and you're going to see that all the cameras will move that we set up in our super preset. So here we go. So right now, I believe we are in scene 1. Then we click scene 2. You can see we have a secondary scene there. And then we have a third scene. So now with the click of a button, I can change scenes directly just by these. So these 1, 2, 3, 4 scenes. So the really cool thing about this as well is that the SuperJoy, if I show the web browser interface one more time here, not only can we set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cameras to move at the same time, but we can also issue an HTTP command, which could change vmix to scenes. It could work with OBS. It could start an Epiphan Perl to start recording and do trigger changes. So you can control cameras and control software and hardware devices in your production.
So that was a great video kind of showing off how you can use groups and scenes to really enhance your PTZ cameras. Like I said, I want to give a huge shout out to Paul Richards specifically for this playlist that he made on YouTube on the PTZ Camera Operator Handbook, which is a book that he wrote. He is an expert in this industry and really has, kind of paved the way for, explaining how all of this is done. When I was doing my research for these past couple shows, I referenced this playlist quite a bit. So definitely highly recommend that you check it out. And, there's like 4 hours of content in there and they're all really good stuff. But maybe you don't have, the time to really sit down and watch all 4 hours. You can download the book for free at streamgeeks.us/PTZ cameras /. Again, can't recommend that enough. It's really, really good information, and we wanted to give a shout out to Paul Richards. Now, one thing that I do want to say is, though, that groups and scenes are not limited to PTZOptics and the SuperJoy controller. Many controllers can do that, whether it's BirdDog or Panasonic or Canon or JVC. All of them can do groups and scenes. And just like we showed presets in the TriCaster and Wirecast a couple weeks ago, they can also do the same thing with grouping and scene changes in their systems along with OBS and vMix. So this is not something that is limited to PTZOptics, just Paul does a really good job of explaining everything. So let's move on. The next thing we're going to talk about is auto-tracking. Auto-tracking is, quite frankly, well, the camera will automatically track somebody. Whether or not you are using face detection or body detection or limb detection or eye detection, the camera will somehow be able to track you without having a camera operator, physically moving a joystick or clicking in a web GUI. Now, most PTZ manufacturers offer some sort of auto tracking. Some offer it with the camera for no additional charge, and some offer it as an upgrade. And you may be thinking, well, why wouldn't they just all include it? Not everybody wants to use auto tracking. So, you might be able to save a couple bucks by getting a camera that doesn't already have it. You don't have to worry about spending that extra money. So, last thing that I wanted to mention about this, and we'll talk about it when we get to this camera, most cameras use software that is being hosted on a separate device in order to do the auto tracking. However, some cameras, like the PTZOptics Move 4K, are actually hardware and the auto tracking is built directly into the camera. And the reason that that is kind of special and unique is you don't have to use a web GUI to turn on or off that auto tracking. It doesn't have to be on the network in order to use the auto tracking. The PTZOptics Move 4K, you can turn on and off the auto tracking with the IR remote that comes with it because it's all being done in the camera. So without further ado, let's talk about some of the manufacturers that offer auto tracking included. So BirdDog is of course going to be the big one that we talk about because all BirdDog cameras come with auto tracking. You can get it with CamControl, which is the software that you can have on another computer or a tablet or something, and it is free. You don't have to pay anything for it. And we did a show not too long ago where we showed off the auto tracking features on a P100. So without further ado, let's watch a snippet of that show.
And I want to start by just walking over here to something that's coming in the next year, really in the next couple months, which is our Videoguys live set. It's always better to do auto tracking with a practical set behind you. And I just want to show off that maybe I'm in a lecture hall and I'm talking, right? Or I have something that I'm trying to present and I don't have a cameraman. Well, it already followed me over to one side of the room, but let's say I want to talk about the P100, which is the camera that we're using in this demo. Well, here it is right here. And let's walk it over to my turntable. And you can see that the camera is really following me. You can tell by our sidebar, Adam's got it configured to my face. He could also put it to my body or have it give me a little bit more headroom. But I could walk this over here. I could start presenting it. And none of this would feature me walking out of the frame, even if I didn't have a cameraman. So really cool technology, really, really easy to use. And to be honest, I'm going to walk around just to show off that it works really well. But yeah, this is BirdDog CamControl, and I want to stress especially that it's a really easy setup and it works great.
So as you could see in that video, the P100 is a perfectly viable solution when it comes to using auto tracking. And to be quite frank, BirdDog really has a camera for every situation. They have cameras starting at around $1,500 with the P100, but they do go all the way up to studio broadcast level cameras with the P4K. So they really have a camera that fits into every budget and every workflow. Next, we're going to talk about auto tracking included with the PTZOptics Move 4Ks. Now, we had already mentioned it. That's this camera right here. This is the 30X model. And the unique thing about the Move 4Ks and their auto tracking is that it's built into the camera. And as you will see in this demo by Paul, once again, who joined us not too long ago, he's going to show you how he's controlling that auto tracking without using a web GUI, with just using the IR remote that comes with the camera. So let's send it to Paul.
This camera supports speaker locking. So you can lock in on a speaker. I'm just one guy on a stage right now. I'm about 30 feet from the camera, and you'll see that it'll intelligently zoom in. Can you bring a remote too, PTZOptics remote? And but what happens with a lot of software-based auto tracking is that the software has to run on a separate computer. And now you're responsible for managing multiple computers, where PTZOptics Move 4K cameras do everything built in, and that makes it smoother. So I've got Kyle next to me here, and how does the camera know which person to zoom in on? It has speaker locking. So now I'll put it on Kyle. It has real computer vision. So this is literally recognizing who Kyle is. I've selected his speaker, and it's not going to now track me. So if you're a pastor at the front of a stage, or you're a teacher at the front of a classroom, we can specifically tell the camera who to track.
All right, so as you can see, pretty cool stuff that you can use the IR remote to control the Move 4K and its auto tracking. Now the Move 4K comes in 3 flavors, a 12X, 20X, and 30X model. And that's the only difference between the models. All of them are 4K 60p with 3G SDI, HDMI, USB, NDI. They all share all of the same internal and external components. So the only difference in the PTZOptics Move 4K models is just 12X, 20X, 30X zoom. All right. So last but not least, JVC has their smart auto tracking. And it's kind of similar to PTZOptics in that you can select the person that you want to be followed. And that's really cool because, again, it just takes that stress off of whoever is operating the camera. You don't have to worry about, if this person walks off frame, are they no longer going to be tracked? Or if somebody else walks on the stage, is it going to start tracking them? Well, JVC, PTZOptics, they make it so you don't have to worry about that. And, even some of the other brands that we're going to be talking about. But I did want to just say that the auto tracking is only available with the JVC KY-PZ510. And for the KY-PZ510, there is 2 models. They are very similar to the Move 4Ks. They are identical except for the one fact that you can get it with NDI or without NDI. So in order to have that NDI license, it is a little bit more expensive. But if you don't think that you're going to be using NDI, save yourself a couple $100. Get the one that has, some IP control with 3G SDI and HDMI. So 2 different flavors of the KY-PZ510. Now we're going to talk about some manufacturers that offer auto tracking as an upgrade. This does not come with the camera. So Canon has auto tracking available for the CRN700, which is their flagship camera. This has their eye tracking, their 4K 60p, 12G SDI out. This is their flagship top of the line camera, and they recently made it so you can get auto tracking with that camera. So let's watch that video of them explaining it. So the Canon CRN700 auto tracking add-on is pretty cool. One of my favorite takeaways from it is having those exclusion zones where you don't have to worry about the camera going past a certain point. If you know the end of the stage is there and you know that the actor is going to walk off stage, the camera will stop right there or maybe even go back to a home position. Very cool stuff. So again, the auto tracking for the Canon CRN700 is $1,200, and that is an add-on fee to the camera. So next we're going to talk about Panasonic's auto tracking upgrade. Now, very similar to BirdDog, Panasonic has a wide range of cameras that the auto tracking can be applied to. Unlike BirdDog, it is not included though. This is an add-on price. And this clip is actually going to show how well that the Panasonic auto tracking works in even low light conditions. So if you know you're going to be in a low light scenario, maybe you want to look at Panasonic because their auto tracking is very well adept in low light. So let's have them show that off a little bit.
How good is the recognition? The environment may be dark when a projector is used, or there may be multiple people moving around a lot during a presentation. Even under such conditions, body detection technology using deep learning and facial recognition technology realize highly precise tracking. The software is easy to use. When you enable facial recognition, people are automatically detected and indicated by square frames. When you double-click a face in a frame, it is registered as a target face. Then press the Tracking Start button, and the system will start automatic tracking. Isn't that easy? Even when the tracking target is lost, the system returns to its home position automatically, and auto-tracking is resumed once the face is recognized again. The degree of response and sensitivity can be set in detail in accordance with the situation at each application. The auto-tracking precision of the AWS-F100 and 200 is enhanced by deep learning technology. Provided that you have applicable Panasonic PTZ cameras, this auto-tracking capability can be added very easily.
All right, sorry about that. So that is Panasonic's auto tracking add-on upgrade, also known as the AWS-F100 PTZ camera auto tracking software. I know that's a mouthful, but that is $1,500 and it is available on a wide range of cameras. You can go on to Panasonic's website and you will be able to see in the specifications tabs all of the cameras that it is applicable to. And yeah, so very similar to BirdDog, wide range of cameras that can have auto tracking capabilities. Now, if we want to talk about the highest end auto tracking that you can get on the market right now, we have to talk about MRMC. Now, I mentioned when we first started talking about auto tracking that you can have it follow a face or eyes or body, and that's what all of the previous auto trackings that we've talked about so far have tracked. Well, MRMC follows not only your face and your body, but all of your individual joints. So even if every part of your body goes off the screen except for maybe just your arm, MRMC will still be able to tell where you are and be able to track you. And it is just really, really cool. Sasha did a demo not too long ago from MRMC on how this auto tracking works and how, gives you a little bit of a behind the scenes of the program. So Sasha, take it away.
At the moment, we have this PTZ head being controlled and a green tracking indicator underneath it showing that tracking is activated. So you can see that I'm being tracked here, and you may have noticed this already from earlier, but my body is being overlaid with the skeletal overlay and the yellow dots, showing you that the computer vision engine is aware of where I am as a person. It doesn't require my face. So I can cover my face. There's no facial tracking. It is a feature that we are going to introduce to give you other options for automation. But at the moment, I can turn around, right on my right board, or show you a presentation. And I don't have to worry that the camera will lose me. It will continue to track me no matter where I am or where I'm looking.
So as you can see, it does follow your joints and all of your, what are they called, ligaments? I don't know if that's the right word or not. I'm getting an okay from Adam. Anyway, it follows all of your joints, and from watching that video, you can really see how much of that technology is being brought into that software to allow it to really look like there is a camera operator behind it. Every movement is just so smooth and graceful, and it looks really, really good. Now, the way that it works with Polymotion Chat Pro is you can have up to 3 cameras controlled by Polymotion Chat Pro, and typically you would have to spend X amount of dollars for the first camera and license, and then 2 more cameras are an additional license fee. But the price that we put on the screen right here, this $4,712.50, is the cost for 3 cameras and the licenses for those 3 cameras. Not 3 PTZ cameras, it's the cost for the software to be able to control 3 PTZ cameras. Just want to clarify that. So that is MRMC. Now, one thing that I really, really wanted to talk about, because it's pretty cool, is audio tracking presets. So Panasonic has some technology where they use their microphones and they are able to assign a preset to a microphone. So if you have a camera that is in the back of the room and you know that there are going to be 4 speakers, you can set your presets to each one of those microphones, and then when that microphone picks up audio, the camera will automatically go to that person. You don't have to worry about having a camera operator switching between those presets. It'll automatically be done, but if they're all sitting down in a conference room, nobody's going to be moving. So having that audio trigger is another way to take some of that complications off of your hands. So let's have Panasonic kind of give a little demo on how this would work in practice.
The experience for remote attendees still isn't the same as being in the room. It's difficult to tell who is in the room for your meetings. Follow a professor that wanders around the classroom, or even follow the conversation. Panasonic has several new solutions that can help make the experience for remote attendees closer to sitting in the room. Panasonic's intelligent auto-tracking technology follows presenters as they wander around a classroom and auditorium, providing a more realistic in-room experience for remote attendees. And now, introducing our newest solution, Panasonic's voice-triggered presets, which allows for automated activation of Panasonic's PTZ camera presets for any Panasonic wireless microphone. Now you can provide a more realistic in-room experience for remote attendees, as the camera will automatically pivot to show the person talking. Panasonic's AWSF300 plugin software is available as an app purchase from Panasonic's PTZ Control Center software. Makes it easy to map the PTZ camera presets to Panasonic wireless mic locations. It's another way Panasonic is making hybrid remote meetings easier and more inclusive for end users.
All right, I don't know about you, but I think that technology is pretty cool. Now, I know that this is a show that we're specifically focusing on PTZs and camera control, so I'm not going to go into too much detail with these, but I just wanted to show you that these are the microphones that are able to connect to the Panasonic PTZ preset program. And they have handheld mics, they have gooseneck mics, they have wireless boundary mics which have a nice omnidirectional microphone to pick up a wide area of space. And then of course you will need to get your receivers and your antennas to be able to receive all of that wireless technology and then hook it up back to your server. We're actually going to be doing a show on Panasonic Connect and all of their Connect devices, including their microphones and potentially the Cairo system and all of their cameras and controllers. So we will be doing a show on that, but I couldn't talk about the PTZ camera control show without talking about this cool new technology that is being introduced into the market. Anyway, that is Advanced PTZ Control from Videoguys. My name is James Frasca. I am a video production specialist here at Videoguys. We are live every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Facebook. So definitely make sure to follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube. Like I said, Gary will not be in next week, but I'll be here. And I'm here Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, to answer any questions that you have. So definitely give us a call, 800-323-2325. And that's pretty much all I got. So I'll give you Gary's trademark. Peace.
Videoguys is available Monday through Friday. Give us a call at 1-800-323-2325. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay connected with all of our updates. And you can like us on Facebook. Keep an eye out for our live videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.